Welcome everyone to Sham Discovers. Let's learn something new today. Look around you right now and pick out every shade of color you can see. You probably assume that your eyes act like objective cameras, faithfully capturing every single hue reflecting into your retina. But cognitive neuroscience reveals an unsettling truth: your eyes do not see reality directly. Instead, your brain actively filters and categorizes incoming visual data long before you ever become consciously aware of it. In pure physics, color does not exist as neat, separated categories. Light is merely a continuous electromagnetic wave ranging from 380 to 750 nanometers in wavelength. Nature did not draw lines between blue, green, yellow, or red. The spectrum is completely smooth. The boundaries you perceive between distinct colors are entirely constructed by human culture and linguistic habit. Consider ancient historical texts like Homer's Iliad and Odyssey. Scholars noticed something bizarre. Homer famously described the ocean as a wine-dark sea, but never once used the word blue. In fact, across ancient Greek, Hebrew, Icelandic, and ancient Chinese texts, terms for blue are completely absent. To ancient cultures, the sky and sea were often described as shades of bronze, black, or white. Historical linguistics shows that almost every human language evolves color terms in the exact same sequence. First come words for light and dark, followed swiftly by red, which represents blood and soil. Next, languages develop words for yellow and green. Blue almost always appears last because intense natural blue pigments are exceedingly rare in human survival environments. This is not just ancient history, it is happening right now. The Himba people of Namibia use a single category name to encompass shades of dark blue, green, purple, and black. However, they possess several distinct words for subtle shades of green that native English speakers lump together as just green. Their linguistic vocabulary reshapes their functional visual biology. When researchers showed Himba subjects a circle of 12 color squares, 11 identical greens and 1 distinct blue, the Himba struggled to spot the blue square. Yet when presented with 11 identical greens and 1 slightly different shade of green, they identified the outlier instantly. Their brains were hardwired by language to zoom in on variations that Western eyes gloss over. The phenomenon works in reverse for speakers of Russian. Russian language does not have a single overarching word for blue. Instead, голубой for light blue and синий for dark blue are treated as totally separate primary colors. Brainwave studies confirm that native Russian speakers physically discriminate between these light and dark shades faster than native English speakers. How can vocabulary alter physical perception? The visual information traveling from your retina hits your primary visual cortex in milliseconds, but it immediately loops through the language centers in your brain's left hemisphere, such as Wernicke's area. Language acts like an active visual filter, sharpening differences between named categories and blurring differences within them. Psychologists call this mechanism categorical perception. Your brain deliberately amplifies contrast at the boundaries between linguistic labels. If your culture has distinct names for 2 shades, your visual cortex treats them as fundamentally different objects. Without those distinct names, your brain treats the difference as trivial noise and flattens it out. Intrigued neuroscientists tested this by presenting color targets exclusively to the right or left visual fields. Because the right visual field connects directly to the left brain where language sits, color differentiation speed drops significantly when language processing is jammed with a verbal task. When language is busy, your speed in distinguishing colors drops to basic baseline vision. This discovery completely overturns the classic model of human biology. We used to believe sensory organs were hardwired hardware and language was just soft software running on top. In reality, language physically alters the biological pathways that process raw sensory input. You are not viewing an absolute physical world, you are viewing a world translated by your vocabulary. Developmental studies on preverbal infants show that babies process color differences using their right brain hemisphere long before they learn to speak. But as children learn their native language, color discrimination physically shifts over to the left hemisphere. Learning to speak literally reorganizes your physical brain architecture and permanently alters your conscious perception. Does this mean learning a new language as an adult expands the physical colors you can easily perceive? Remarkable new studies suggest the answer is yes. Adults who achieve fluency in languages with richer color vocabularies show measurable changes in neural response speed when distinguishing those subtle shades. Your vision retains lifelong neuroplasticity. This gives modern weight to the famous Sapir-Whorf hypothesis of linguistic relativity. While language does not trap you in an inescapable sensory box, it acts as a permanent set of active cognitive lenses. Every word in your vocabulary is a specialized tool that tunes your subconscious focus toward specific details of physical reality. The universe around you is vibrant, complex, and filled with infinite visual nuances. But the slice of reality you actually experience is dictated by the words handed down to you by your culture. When you expand your vocabulary, you are not just learning new ways to talk, you are expanding the boundaries of what you can see. If learning new words can physically alter how we perceive colors, do you think people who speak different languages fundamentally experience emotions or time differently as well? Language does not just describe the world you live in, it actively constructs the reality you perceive.